All in Sports Network. We love sports.
Coming to you from the land of biscuit and barbecue, owns Carson This by the Unstable Blues.
Welcome back in. The entire season has led to this game. For the second straight year, there is a Super Bowl rematch. For the second time in 3 years, it will be the Chiefs and Eagles. We will give you our keys to the game, matchups to watch, as well as our final score predictions. So, let's go all in Colts.
That's correct. I'm Kevin. This is my son Liam. We're the Unstable Blues. Happy to present All In Colts as part of the Rogue Media Sports Network.
Yes.
I got it.
We're going again.
I knew. Here it is. I mean, last episode of the season, and
the football.
We'll keep going a little bit, but yeah, I'm still making mistakes. It's okay. It's all right.
It's fine. We roll with it. It is the Andy Reid Bowl, part 2, because Andy Reid has both coached for the Eagles and the Chiefs. So
yes,
obviously more successful on the Chiefs, though.
He's the winningest coach for both franchises.
It's true, but he's known for the Chiefs.
Yeah. Also, for the first time, it's the Carson Wentz Bowl.
It's true, because Carson Wentz is the backup for Patty, and he won a Super Bowl kind of on the Eagles.
Yep.
So
he was the starter that season.
Yes,
and
he led them there, and then Foles came in and locked it up.
Yep. Philly special.
Yep.
All right. So here's the deal. If you watch us on a regular basis, you know how we feel about the Chiefs. Yes. Neither one of us like the Chiefs. Not only that, but contrary to what Roger Goodell says, there is some funny business when it comes to the Chiefs. It's just it's a little interesting how it works sometimes. So we are going to give you all of this thing solely from the Eagles' perspective, just as if it's a Colts game. We are now rooting for – you're rooting for the Eagles. I'm simply rooting against the Chiefs, and I'm not really even rooting for the Eagles. That's hard too. Their fans are not easy to get with.
It's fair. I haven't met personally a bad Philly fan, so I don't have a problem with it.
That's fair. Yeah. All right. So why don't you start us off with keys to the game from your perspective?
Over this playoff run, I have grown to learn more about the Eagles, because that is the team I chose from the very beginning.
Yep.
And I am kind of surprised that they made it to the Super Bowl, but at the same time, I'm not, because I knew they had the team to do it. So there's always a 3. Run the ball and keep running the ball. Best running back in the league. I'll say it every week. Time of possession. You have the best running back in the league. Should be pretty easy to win time of possession.
Yep.
And win the turnover battle. You have the best defense in the league. You should be able to win that too. Although you are going up against a very solid defense with your quarterback who necessarily isn't proven. He's kind of like Josh Allen a couple of years ago with the turnovers kind of flimsy and, just out there, right? Utilize Saquon Barkley. I don't think I need to say anything else, but I'm going to anyways. He is having one of the best running back seasons of all time.
Easily.
At the end of his career, if he stays with the Eagles and continues to do this well, he will be a top 10 running back of all time. If you are on a track to be a top 10 running back of all time, you need to be utilized in the biggest game of the season, possibly your career. This is going to be his first ring if he wins this. So a lot of people and it's his birthday as well. Happy birthday to you, Saquon. Happy birthday to you, Cooper DeJean, as well.
Exactly.
We see you guys. Go ball out for your birthday. But there's another side to this offense that not enough people talk about, and that is the passing game. 246 last week. No touchdowns, but no interceptions. 246 yards by itself is a lot. That's 2.5 football fields of yards. And it was spread evenly throughout a lot of receivers like A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, those people. The big targets that I have said can still do stuff. They just don't have to because their game plan is so good. What else is there? Don't let it be a close game, because if you let that happen, then the refs can get involved, and the Chiefs defense is good. Minus the refs, the Chiefs defense is the best part of that football team, which is crazy saying a top 5 quarterback is on the other side of the ball, which proves even more that not necessarily. I don't know, because there's a lot of debate with that in Tom Brady. So I don't know. We're not going to go there. It's not that for this episode.
We can cover that next week if need be, depending on exactly what happens. We dive into that.
Yes.
Little possible tease there.
Yes. So, yeah. And then Eagles defense, don't let Patrick do all this fancy stuff. Stay disciplined. Stick to fundamentals. Stick to the stuff you know. But make it flashy a little bit, because if you don't do that, like we see with the Colts, it's not going to work out all the time. So, what are your keys to the game?
All right. I have some. I have questions.
Okay.
My question is: can the Chiefs stop Saquon? If they can stop Saquon, then that's going to be a tough day. I don't know that they can, but if there is a defense that can, it's the Chiefs. Can the Chiefs keep up with the Eagles' offense? Meaning they get going and they just go. And so
hence last week against the Commanders.
If the Eagles can run score up, I'm not sure that the Chiefs can keep up with that. So then that puts even more pressure on the Chiefs defense. Watch the flags in the crucial moments. This is the moment for the NFL to right the wrongs or prove the doubters right. Right? Like in those biggest moments, it will be seen under a microscope one way or the other. So make sure you watch that stuff. The first 4, middle 8, final 4, the first 4 minutes, you got to get out to a good start, whether that is stopping them because they get the ball first, or whether that is scoring quick, which we saw them do in the NFC Championship game. One play. And then the middle 8, end the half well, start the next half well, avoid the double whammy where they can score and then they get the ball at the beginning of the half, if that's what happens. But if you do that, capitalize upon it, right? I can go both ways depending on the coin toss at the beginning. And then the final 4, I mean, let's be honest. Do not be surprised if there are 3 scores or 4 scores in the final 4 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's just how this game can go nowadays with pass interference penalties and the way that these offenses both can move the ball, particularly between the 20s, because, I would assume if we're scoring that quick, it's field goals, right? So just pay attention to that. It's going to be a good end of the game. Speaking of which, be prepared to play 70 plus minutes. And I'd emphasize the plus, because there will be no end at 70 minutes. It will go until there is a winner.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, kick the ball off if you win the coin toss in overtime.
Yes. Don't do what the Niners did.
Learn from Mike Shanahan's mistake, and you got to know what to do.
Kyle Shanahan.
Sorry, wrong.
You're good. You're good.
There's
a lot of Mike coaches, so
I'm going in with his dad. Yeah, it's mad bad. So yeah, learn from those mistakes, and that's what I have. What about your matchups to watch?
Whew, my bad.
You all
Matchups
right?
to watch. First one that comes to my mind is McDuffie versus whoever is whoever he's on, because he plays outside as well as slot. Last season he was allowed just not slot because they had Snead. Now he's kind of all over the place because he is their number one corner. And then also Nick Bolton versus Goddard. It seems that Nick Bolton has taken a lot of the tight ends and followed them even through whenever normally a safety would pick them up. Although if Justin Reed is playing, watch him to pick up a safety as well. And then switch over to the other side of the ball. Patrick versus Zach Bond. Potential defensive player of the year versus a lot of people are saying he should have been in the Pro Bowl, should have been in the MVP race. No, he did not deserve any of those. Like I said, the defense was the best part of this team. Travis Kelce versus Zach Bond or Blankenship or whoever, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, whoever it is. Xavier Worthy versus Darius Slay. I believe that is what the matchup will be. Trying to think, what are Juju? They have Juju, D Hop. So actually,
Hollywood.
I mean Hollywood. So they have good weapons.
Smith-Schuster.
Yeah.
Yep. Said that.
So, but the Eagles have the secondary to compete with it. I would not be shocked if they go with 4 corners out there. Whenever they run 4 wide or 4 wide receivers, they have D Hop, Hollywood, Juju, and Xavier against CJ Gardner-Johnson, Darius Slay, Cooper DeJean, and Quinyon Mitchell. I'll take my bets on the Eagles on that matchup. I like those. And then last one, got to do some coaching, learn from the best. Nick Sirianni versus Andy Reid, head coach versus head coach. I think this is going to come down to who plays the smartest, whether that being going for a gutsy call or taking your 3.
I like it. Okay. I have all coaching, but before I get there, I'm going to add a couple others. I'm going to lump everything together and just say trenches.
I like it.
I mean, you have a really good defensive line in the Eagles against a very questionable all season, but yet hitting its stride kind of. I mean, as stride as it has been all season with the Chiefs offensive line and possibly the 3rd best offensive line in the Eagles, only behind the Lions and the Colts.
I'd say they're better than the Colts. That's me.
I think,
but we have to have a biased opinion on here.
Yes, exactly. I would say, if I'm being honest, they are as well, simply because of health. Honestly, if the Colts had remained healthy, with Will Fries particularly, and then regular right tackle, whether that is Braden Smith or Gonsalves, just consistency there, I think was the difference. So that really good offensive line, whichever rank you want to put on them, against a really good defensive line.
Mm-hmm.
And that brings me to Steve Spagnuolo versus Kellen Moore.
I like it.
Defensive, let's be honest, he was not great as a head coach, but as a defensive coordinator, he is definitely one of the all-time best. It's he lulls you to sleep by giving you normal kind of things, and then all of a sudden he's bringing a corner like through the middle on a blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does weird stuff at the right times to catch you.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore, really good offensive mind. Let me just shout out Nick Sirianni, former offensive coordinator for the Colts, by saying what he's been able to do, going to 2 Super Bowls with 2 different offensive coordinators and 2 different defensive coordinators. He's pretty special.
Mm-hmm.
I like, the only reason I think that he gets maligned is because of Philly and their fans. I think that's it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Out of focus. There we go. Okay. But Kellen Moore also could be a little distracted because the Saints job is still potentially out there for him. So hopefully he's focused and locked in on what he needs to do. And then Matt Nagy versus Vic Fangio. Once again, Matt Nagy, not that great as a head coach. Most of that, I think, was because it was the Bears. And that organization traditionally chews up quarterbacks and coaches. But offensively, piecing together, like, you take a look at the Chiefs' offense, it's a patchwork, and it's young guys and vets and all these different things, and being able to rally them. Now, it doesn't hurt at all that your head coach is offensive mind, maybe one of the best offensive minds, and the play caller makes your job a lot easier, but also overlooked. But then Vic Fangio and what he's been able to do with the varsity plus of Georgia, essentially, on his defense, is absolutely incredible. To the move to put Cooper DeJean into the slot has been absolutely season changing for their defense. And everybody knew coming in, like, that was one of the big things with Cooper DeJean out of the draft. Where does he go? Like, is he a safety? Is he a corner? Is he a slack? Is he just a special teamer that eventually can work into your defense? Well, it turns out that the answer is yes to pretty much all of those things.
Because he returns.
He returns really well, and he could play safety, but they already have 2 really good safeties, and he could play outside corner, but it turns out the best fit for everything that they do was in the slot. And so nickel corner was where he went to. It's worked out really well.
Yeah.
So those are my matchups to watch. Who is your player to watch?
I want to go someone in the Eagles defense, but I think the only way that's possible is if Zach Bond wins Defensive Player of the Year, and then he kind of has to back it up in the Super Bowl. But I think it is a very, very obvious pick to me. If the Chiefs cannot stop Saquon Barkley, there is no way the Eagles are going to lose this Super Bowl. So, if Saquon gets stopped, there's a possibility. If he doesn't, throw in the white towel.
All right. So you got Saquon. I talked about him a lot already. To me, it's Cooper DeJean. and that could be for many different reasons. It could be some kind of weird Fangio blitz off the nickel. Could be a deflected interception that he's going to have. But it also wouldn't surprise me if he had a little injection of energy on the special teams.
I like it. I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, surely there's got to be a return in the
Like-
Super Bowl. Like, that happens so much, surely.
Yeah. Like, I would love to see, reminds me of, when was it? 96, when Brett Favre won the Super Bowl against the Patriots pre-Tom Brady with a is it Rocket Ishmael or Desmond Howard on basically return, like the return guy won it for them on a kickoff, I believe. So love to see that kind of like funky, weird kind of thing in the Super Bowl.
Impact the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, then. We've made it to your prediction.
Yes. My prediction. You're out of focus again.
I know.
No, you're good.
Maybe.
Almost. There we go. I don't remember who I said in the pick six, so this is gonna probably be different. Maybe, I don't know.
Mine's definitely, but
I'm gonna say the Eagles win because I don't know if they can stop Saquon plus everything else. And I'm gonna say
that was your pick six. You said the same thing.
okay. And I'm going to say 35 to 22.
Okay. I am also going to say the Eagles, which is different than my pick six.
Yes.
So, but my score is indicative of how the Eagles would win. If it's like you said, I'm going to go. I agree with you. Close game, Eagles don't win. But I'm going to go Eagles 45 to 23. So I have a bigger spread than you.
Big.
Once
points.
Again, I think that's
how the Eagles roll.
I think that's the best thing that can serve them the best, because if it remains close, you leave too much room for error, too much
involvement from other parties.
Yep, and that will not serve you well against the Chiefs. They're black and white and red striped. It's just kind of how it is. So.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? That is all that we have this week. We'll be back next week with a recap of the Super Bowl. We will also head into draft season for the Colts and have a couple new surprises for the offseason. So stay tuned, and we will see you next week.
Yep, this is Liam.
And this is Kevin.
Reminding you, stay all in Colts.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.